evening.
Thank you so much for joining in with us tonight for another episode of The Encouraging Woman.
Yes.
She Speaks podcast episode 3. We are so excited for tonight. Like tonight is one of those topics that is like, whew.
Lord.
Let's just make it happen, right?
Yes.
So today, we like to start off our podcast each week just kind of talking about how our day has been. Today was the Tuesday for us.
Listen, Ashley D. Williams, Dr. Storm.
Dr. Storm.
Life was
Yes,
today.
It was.
But I think it was really leading up to today because it's such a heavy topic.
It is.
Out loud.
Yes, grief out loud. We are here. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't get to do our introduction. But I am Ashley D, your host for tonight, and I am joined by Dr. Storm. We gonna get it right. We are so excited, y'all. This is one topic. When I thought about it, we always discuss like what are we gonna do each time we work on the podcast.
We already teary-eyed.
Listen, I know it's a touchy topic, but before we get started, like how we came to this conclusion of the decision of grief out loud.
Right.
I remember when we were thinking about topics. I remember before back in December. Let's go backwards. Mm-hmm. In December, Dr. Storm and I were just discussing how the holidays were coming.
Right.
And we had planned to actually just do a general live, not necessarily with the Encouraging Woman. However, just to talk about what we were both going through. And I was like, Storm, like December's a rough month for me.
Yeah.
December is a month where I lost my mom, and then you got the holidays, and I had recently lost my brother, my older brother. And it was one of those, and I was like, Storm, how are you feeling? Like, we always ask that question, like,
I'm like, my chest tight.
And she was just like, Ashley, I'm feeling it. And I was like, you know what? I'm feeling it too. And as we kind of just planned out this year of doing a podcast, I was like, all right, it's time to release. It's time to let it go.
I gotta be honest. I had to prepare myself for today mentally, and I'm already teary-eyed and forgot to get
the tissue. We forgot to get the tissue, guys.
So just walk with us on this journey today because it's a much needed topic.
Absolutely,
but it is a heavy topic because so many people, men and women, we deal with it in silence. Don't give it back.
We do. No, you're fine. You're doing good. You're doing awesome. So, I mean, I realize a lot of our friends, we have a lot of friends, we have a lot of mentors, and just individuals that we encounter on a daily basis that have truly been trying to get through the grief process.
Yes.
As I look at myself, we're going to just go ahead and dive into it because tonight is one that I believe, like, as I was encountering people each day, they were like, actually, y'all really going to talk like about some serious stuff? And I was like, yeah, it's really time. It's time to really not only just release, but also to allow people to understand why people oftentimes gravitate towards us.
Yes.
And I'm sure those that are grieving right now are going through the same thing, where they have people that are like, how are you pushing through?
Yeah.
How are you making it through?
Yeah.
And so when I think about myself, I'm going to just talk about it or just go right into it. For me, my journey as I've been dealing with life, of course, like a lot of you all know, I am from Fort Lauderdale, born and raised. I actually was raised by my grandparents, which I'm so thankful for because the foundation that they bestowed upon me is just something that has stuck with me forever for a long, long time. I lost my mom at the age of 8 years old. And a lot of times I run into older women who will say, I lost my mom at this age as well. And I'm like, wow. And look at you thriving.
Right.
And look at you pushing through.
Right.
And I can just remember when I was 8 years old and just being in that front row at a funeral, you're just like, it's a different type of feeling. So losing my mom at 8, December 10th, 1996, I was 8 years old. I never forget. And I just remember just learning even then about how the process of death operates. That was just a shell that was in front of us. The pastor preached about that, just explaining how the death process happens and how your spirit moves on into heaven if you accepted Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior.
Right.
So at that age, I kind of learned just then that, okay, no matter what's happening, you still have to proceed further and push through in life. So I just remembered when my family told us the news of her passing. I've never actually publicly talked about this, but just looking at my family, I love my family dearly, but I realized with them, I think just families in general, we tend to just act like it never happened. Right. And I think sometimes they don't realize you're still grieving and you're still trying to figure out how to navigate life. And I think a lot of times for me, people think, oh, Ashley has it together. She's fine. She posted on social media, so she's okay.
Not know that you're hurting in the inside.
Holidays come around. Mother's Day comes around. And you're like, dang, I gotta go to the graveyard to see my mom.
Right.
You know, or just to kind of show homage to her passing, because I don't ever want any, you know, I don't want to feel like I forgot about her, you know. So I would go visit her. Me and my older brother, that was our tradition that we would do. So for the past few years, that's been our routine. That's what we would do.
Right. You and your brother, right?
It went me and my older brother. You guys know him a lot. I won't even say his name, but y'all know who he is, okay? But that was our process. That was how we did things to make sure we still stayed connected. We would go to the store. I would be running. I'll go put those flowers on her graveyard just to make sure they look so pretty. I was never a balloon person. No, because they gonna pop.
Just the flowers.
Yeah, so I would literally do that every year. That was just how I would process things of life with missing my mom, because there's so many things, and it kind of, this gives you a better idea of when I meet older women, why I gravitate towards them so quickly.
Right.
Because it's like you want to have that attachment to someone.
It's that missing piece.
What?
Yeah,
it's the missing piece of your life. So I meet a lot of women that really see me and they're like, Ashley, you're doing what I wish I could have done at that age, and I'm not doing it till now, older, you know, the older version of myself. Right. So that was the one passing that I still.
You're doing good.
Right. Thank you, sis. I appreciate
you're doing good.
Listen, I'm just like, oh, it hurts, but it's like you keep going.
Yeah.
So that's one. Right. And then 2010, raised by Grandma Mary. I love her, y'all. I miss her so much. I was raised by her. She was one that was a strong woman. And that 2010 passing, I'll never forget, as she was getting ready to pass. So I was going through college. I was undergrad at Nova Southeastern. And so I never forget, she told me when she finally, I'm about to cry.
You got it.
She told me, my son at the time was 3 years old, and she said, Ashley, you make sure you finish school. Right. I was in my undergrad years. I was a teenage mom. I had my son at 19 years old. So she said, make sure you finish school. And I said, okay, I got it. She said, go ahead.
You got it.
She said, finish school. Stay focused. Right. She said, do what you have to do. I'm going to be fine. And so because I was raised by her, I was like, you know what? I'm going to keep going to school. Grandma going to be fine. And I'm going to remember those memories of her as I continue to get older. You know, I said, I had a lot of years spent with her. And so I said, it's going to be fine. And she said, you do that bachelor's, you finish that, and everything else, I'm going to be okay. She said, but I got to go.
You got it.
And I was like, okay, cool. And I never forget, as she went through that process of passing, I don't know if you guys ever seen anyone pass in front of you.
No.
Yeah. I don't know if you ever seen it, but this is before I got into the career I'm currently in. So seeing that was just like, whoa, okay. But I have so many memories with her, so where I'm okay. But no matter what, I know that she's very proud of me and the things that I've accomplished in life. So as the holidays come, you have Mother's Day, you have Thanksgiving, you have Christmas that comes around, and you're like, man, that's that missing piece. Those are the missing pieces. You know, the holidays are not the same anymore because Grandma is the one who cooked the food, prepared the food. She never complained
at all
about her making the greens, the ham, the potato salad, the oxtail. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So she never complained about having to do those different things. And I think as you continue to grow older, you realize, oh my goodness, I'm at that age where I'm older now. And now I have to start this process of, you know, cooking and being the not grandma, but you know, now the leader in the family.
I gotta be my sister T for you all. Let me go grab something. You're doing good. I'll be right back.
Y'all, she's gonna get a tissue. But anyways, we're gonna continue continue to talk about it. Pretty much, you think about the fact of, you want to be the leader in your family. You want to make sure everyone is still connected and everyone's doing what's necessary. But losing grandma is something that affects, I feel like every generation, from the sister, the daughter, whomever has been affected by that loss. So losing grandma was one that was just okay. And I'm sure a lot of you guys can actually relate to that, where you're losing your grandmother, and also a mother. It does something to you. It changes your mindset in so many ways, to where you're just saying to yourself, like, okay, can I do this? I hope that she's proud. You can't get the response back, but a lot of times, some people have the gift of where there are dreams that you may have, where that person may come and appear to you in your dreams. And that has happened to me. I never forget when grandma passed, she came to me and she said, I made it and I'm okay. So for me, the journey of losing both mother figures in your life and your mom,
right,
it just affects you in a different way. And I said to myself after losing my mom, that I said, I want to be the best mom that I figure if she was here still to this day, if Damita was here, she would be like, this is how I will be as a mom. And a lot of times, oftentimes my family says to me, it's like, actually, you look just like your mom.
Wow.
You do a lot of things that are closely
to your mom,
to my mom.
Right.
And for me, like, again, I have those moments when I have those dreams when I'm trying to get certain answers and they just appear. And it's like, okay, I got it.
Right.
Sometimes we always say we want to hear the voice of God, but sometimes he gives that little.
Let me tell you something. And when it comes, it comes.
It does.
It comes.
It does. So those are the first two that I'm going to talk about right now. And now I'm going to allow Dr. Storm to tell about.
Oh, you were doing so good. You might as well just get it on. All right. Talk about it.
So, and then just moving forward, I remember the year I decided to change careers, right?
Now, this is the one that I actually experienced with you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, changing careers and losing my dad. I was not raised by him. However, he did the best he could, as the dad knows, right? And I feel like a lot of times dads sometimes they don't know how to be a father if they didn't have that father figure in their lives.
It's like a generational thing.
Correct. So losing him, I never forget, even with him, as I was working, trying to make it in life, raising my son. And as he was leading up to his passing, he would call me all the time and say, Ash, can you bring me some tacos? I'm like, Dad, you over at BGH. Like, why am I bringing tacos? Them people are not.
I think at that time, it probably was the bonding.
Yeah, right.
Because they say that usually when a person knows, they know.
Yeah. And that was just it. Like, I think those are just the times of me coming to check on him and actually getting a chance to see him when I kind of had an idea of what was happening, right, with him. And I was just like, okay. And then when it did happen, it was like, I felt like an orphan.
Because now you're missing both parents.
Yeah.
So now you got to live without both parents.
Right. So
and grandma.
Right.
Yeah.
So I felt like an orphan. I was just like, okay, how we say, God can do this and he can do that. And I'm just like, God, why I keep getting the losses? Like, I'm tired of losing when it comes to family. Like, this sucks.
It's like, God, why me? And he's like, why not you?
Right. And that was the one thing that the message was for me, was he kept saying, why not you, Ashley? Why not? Because I know you can handle it. I know that you will be fine. And you're going to find the resources that you need to get through in life.
Because you're a super mom, a super this, a super that, a super this, a super that, a super. I can go on and on.
On and on.
But you're super.
Right. So that was that. So when Dad passed, it was like, okay, I can now make decisions without having to worry, like, oh, my daddy gonna say.
Right. So you tried to be grown.
I did.
Okay.
I was trying to be grown on my own. But then after he passed, it was like, okay, it's gonna be okay. Right. And then I said to myself, I can create my traditions with my son.
Right.
At the time I only had one. And I said, it's okay, and I'll be fine.
Right.
And then just the recent events that took place.
This is the one where when I got it was, I think I don't know if I saw it in a message or what the case was.
Yeah.
But when I got the information, I was at work. It was early in the morning. So I called Ashley. I'm like, hey, is this true?
Yes.
She on the phone crying. I said, where you at? Where are you?
Dr. Storm found me so fast.
Look, you would think I got a GPS.
Yes. Yes.
I had to come check on you.
Yes. And I think for my brother, it was different because it was a very, very unexpected situation. Right. Because when you're born into this world, right, mm-hmm. and you have your siblings, you never expect it to be where you're going to lose that person that you've done every single thing. It don't matter how many times y'all feuded with each other.
That's still your brother. Still family.
10 toes down.
Still family.
Standing on business. Mm-hmm. So to see that happen, it was just like, okay. Mm-hmm. And I just remember looking at him while he laid in the hospital, and I was just like, I always say this, I felt like the moment when Simba lost his dad, I was like, wake up. Right.
Like, hey, come on now.
I was like,
stop playing with me. Get
up. I was like, wake up. Like, no. Right. I felt just like that. I was like, I think that was like the one vision that popped in my head. And I was like, ooh. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. I'm like, we was just talking about going to take trips and do this. We had just took a trip in March and to Orlando. And I was just like, no, right. No, I'm not supposed to be doing this. And then to actually have to plan a funeral, right? I could plan a party. I could plan a graduation celebration. Mm-hmm. I could plan all these different things. But to plan a funeral of your sibling does something to you. Mm-hmm. And didn't even speak, y'all. I actually spoke. And people ask me all the time, they're like, Ashley, how did you how are you able to actually plan and do and still show up? And I'm like,
because you still was about to go to work and do your normal routines when such a tragic thing.
Correct. I for that it was like I had to do what I think he would do if the roles were reversed, right? And so I said, okay, you plan just like you do everything else. Mm-hmm. So you can plan this and go about it. I never forget my auntie said, Ashley, why are you asking me how you want this to be? This is your thing. You make it happen how you want to. And I said, okay, all right. Now, once she said that, it was like, the wings were clipped and it was time for you to fly and do your thing. So it turned out perfect, a phenomenal thing. But I think over the past year, I remember after he passed, I was like, let me go check on him.
Because it's the normal routine that you have.
Yep.
And it's almost like they're gone.
Right.
But they're not gone.
Right.
Like, I know that I'm just going to wake up and that person is just going to be there.
Yes. So I literally went, never forget, I went and I was like, let me go check on him. And I went by the graveyard on 19th and I was like, all right, he's still there. And it was just like, you're just trying to process.
Right.
That's that grief. So I say to myself with grief, it's like the things that you were unable to say, the final statements that you would like to have said. But they know within yourself that person loved you. They will always be with you and love you like no other, right?
I think that when someone transitions, we think about all the things that we did not get to say. And that's one of the most it's one of the most challenging things. But it's one of the things that we just have to accept to say, job well done.
Yeah.
Job well done.
Yeah. I agree. I just remember he will always say, Ash, you so smart. You saw this and you saw that. And I'm like, okay. And his nickname for me, he would call me Tamar. He said my sister's so extra. So that would be his number one thing he would say. But as I think about the grief, it was one of those things that I decided to get counseling for it.
That's key.
Yeah.
Counseling.
Yeah. I decided to because I was realizing I had never in my life, let me tell you guys, mental health is so real.
Yeah.
I had never realized how traumatic things can be of losing a loved one. You know, and when you're losing them, you're going through a crisis in a sense.
Right.
So luckily and thankfully, I've had such a huge support team from my department, my organizations that I'm part of, like to be able to surround me and to make sure I'm okay. But I've realized as the years go by,
It's tough.
People forget about you.
It's tough. It's tough. I remember when I experienced my tragedy, and you always checked on me, even around the birthday time.
Right.
And I said, it's an experience like no other. And then when it happened to you, it was one of those things I was like, I know what she's feeling.
Yep.
So when I heard your cry, only thing I could think about, let me get there.
Yep. Yeah. And you were there. Like, I mean, I remember that day verbatim of who all, it's like you're going to always remember who shows up for you.
Right.
The ones who truly, I feel like the times when you realize who's your true friends is when you lose someone. Yeah. They say funerals, weddings, and when babies are born is when you find your true friends. And especially with your family members, right? That is when you realize who is really on your side, who's really going to be there for you no matter what. And I know for a fact, when I say Dr. Stone don't play by me.
I don't, y'all.
At all.
You see, I ain't even looking at y'all today. My eyes been right on over here.
Yes. So it would, I mean, just going past the year, I look at that. I can't even tell you, just getting to that 1 year anniversary.
That's the toughest. That is
the 1 year anniversary was the toughest for me I had ever done in my life. And it was like on social media, they see you a certain way. They see that you're working out, you're juicing, you're doing these different things to keep yourself up, to take care of your body. But it's the mental health that also plays a part. So just like we take care of our outer appearance, we got to take care of the internal being of yourself. Right. So counseling was the best thing for me. And it's been very, very helpful, I will say, because what I will say is that depression is real.
Yes.
Anxiety is real.
Yes.
And you don't realize what's happened. You just know that there's something wrong. And I oftentimes say it to my students. I'll say, what's wrong? And they're like, I can't tell you what's wrong, but I feel it in here. And I'm like, I know it feels like a Band-Aid had been ripped up in your brain to where you can't express how you feel, but you know it hurts. That's like the best way I could kind of compare the two. But it hurts. And then you see people on social media.
Once again, give me your other hand. You're doing good. You're doing good.
You see people in there, you know, they think you see them and you're like, you haven't checked on me.
Right. And that be that hurt. Don't show up during the time.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, I don't see you no more. Wait, Auntie, sis, where you been?
Where you been?
Where you been?
Yes.
Where you been?
Listen, I say all the time, I'm like, man, I'm like, how you a friend? How you a family member? And you know the traumas that have happened. But at the same time, what I realized is everybody's dealing with something.
Yeah. And that's key, because you never know what people are dealing with. And it's one of the things that I always say, that you just never know. You did good. You did good.
I appreciate you.
You did good.
I appreciate
you did good.
Yes.
So can we just skip over me?
No. You making this an interview about me?
Yes. Listen, we on the couch.
We on the encouraging woman couch.
You know what? It's interesting, because one of the things that I admire about you the most is knowing that you have lost both of your parents. Because when my mama, you know,
y'all are besties,
and I can't fathom.
Yeah.
And I know when certain days come and certain things are happening, it's tough.
It is.
Because we all experience losses.
Yes.
And I remember when I lost my grandmother in 2011.
Yep.
And we was close. But it's like she old,
Right.
So at a certain age,
Right.
you expect certain things.
Yeah.
But you still don't expect that to that magnitude.
Correct.
But baby, let me tell you something.
Talk
when you
about it.
lose somebody,
Talk about it.
that is the same age as you.
Yeah.
That's when it's impactful. When you lose someone, a husband, a wife, a child, is things that I can honestly say that never say what you won't do.
Right.
Because during my time of tragedy, I found myself doing some crazy stuff.
Right.
I didn't care.
Because
I did not care.
Yeah.
She's trying to make me talk, y'all. I'm trying to get up out of it. See how I like going through the back
door
sometimes.
We're going to pull it back in, y'all.
So the one that took me out was almost 6 years ago. I received a phone call, and it's the call that I remember as if it just happened.
Yeah.
And I remember my aunt calling me, and she told me that, hey, I think this just happened. And I remember saying to myself, I was a teacher at the time. I just got my test scores, a highly impact teacher. Yes. I'm like, oh, I'm going to have a great summer.
Right.
All of my students made growth. And in that same breath, I get a phone call to tell me that they think my cousin has died. Yep. Not died. He was murdered. And I tell everybody, it's a difference when someone gets in a car accident. Yes. It's a difference when someone is at a certain age or they have a disease, but when you wake up one day and it's a tragedy,
yeah, it does.
You don't prepare for that.
Right.
So when I got the call, God is one of those things where he covers us.
He does.
He covers us so much that I don't know how I made it from the place that I was in to the place that he was at less than 5 minutes in the Toyota Corolla 2010. Wow. And it was a 30-minute drive, but I got there in 10 minutes. Quickly. I'm glad that was 6 years ago. Somebody can't arrest me, right?
I ain't gonna do it.
So the biggest thing for me was we think that we have time.
You don't.
And we think that this person or the people that we love will be there forever. And the reality is the only thing that in life is final is death.
Correct.
Everything else is workable.
Talk about it.
I'm mad at you. So what? I love you. I don't like you. So what? I love you, because the Bible say love each other.
Come on now.
Love thy neighbor.
Yes.
I'm not going to preach today.
Not today.
So during that time, I remember I told God, how?
Right.
How?
Yeah.
How could
shock.
Could something like this happen?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? And I remember my mom sat at the edge of my bed, and she looked at me and she said, hey, I need you.
Yes.
At that time, I did not know what she was talking about.
Yes.
Because, baby, I checked out.
Yeah.
I went to a different planet. And the only thing I can remember is if he can go at the age of 30,
right,
we all can go.
You definitely can.
I always say, you don't know what I lost.
Yeah.
You don't know the pillar that I lost at that time.
Yeah.
And it was bad, y'all.
Yeah. I remember getting that call when you told us about it. And I was like, wait, what?
It was so bad. The days leading up to the wake, I went to the hospital 3 times, thought I was having a heart attack. I thought I was having a heart attack. Or stroke. It was either or. All I know was my tongue went numb. I was shaking. I couldn't breathe. My chest was tight.
Yeah.
And I just felt like I was one step away from death.
Yeah.
And the doctor told me, baby, you have an anxiety attack. I don't know what that is.
Right.
Because I never had one. They described me the Xanax pills. And I said, I'm not taking that.
Nah.
Actually, I took one of those pills, baby. I was floating on air. I said, I can't do this. I was floating.
It'll do it to you, though. It affects the mental. Like, it does something to you. I promise you. Like,
it was so bad, y'all. Yeah. The doctor told me he wanted to reverse my neurons in my head to make the sad ones good. No. But you know what I found? The best medicine. The most under-prescribed medication. But I got in the gym.
Come on. I remember.
But I was 230 pounds, y'all. I'm a good 180 now.
Come on.
So if you see me with a 2-top on, I'm not gonna do that.
Don't you think?
But
no, truthfully.
I just remember
Yeah.
that you don't get over it. You just learn how to cope.
And that's it. That's literally it. That's literally the process over the past years of having these losses is that you just you learn how to cope.
But you know what, sis?
What?
From the age 30, that was like 2019, 2021. I made some terrible decisions. Ooh,
talk about it.
I made some terrible decisions.
Talk about it, Dr.
Personal business, everything.
We be all over the place, y'all.
My mind just gone.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I look back and I thank God though.
Yeah.
I thank God for the decisions that I have made because I stand before you today in my best season.
Yes. Talk about it.
In my best season.
Talk about it, Dr. Storm. I kid you not. I honestly feel the same way.
Yes.
As I look at the years, as you're talking about the accomplishments, the losses, the downside of things, and I look at this year and I'm just like, ooh. Dr. Storm and I, we be plotting, y'all. We be planning and plotting.
My auntie told me, I remember my aunt saying, I had put on a program and when you're grieving, I remember someone telling me, I think I read it. Sometimes because we always say the person becomes our angel, right?
Yes, they do.
I found myself making red my God.
Yeah.
Because I was like, well, I know he got me.
Right.
I know he got me. I'm forgetting God got me.
God got you.
But because he has transitioned, I know he got me. And I had to catch myself. And that's why I am so grateful for my pillars. Let me tell you something. I always tell people, touch not the anointings because you don't know my prayers. You don't know the people that's praying for me.
Correct.
I got some praying people.
Yes, you do.
What? They don't play about me, y'all.
They don't. At all.
But it's important to have that praying circle.
It is true.
It's important to have people that can stand in the paint for you because 2018 to about 2022, it wasn't my prayers that got me through. It was my praying circle.
Correct.
It was the phone calls that said, hey, I need you. I need you to survive. I remember getting a phone call that told me, hey, do you not know your success is tied to a lot of people's blessings?
Come on now.
You don't have time.
You don't.
I told God, why not? Why not? So when you think about losses and grieving, I'm telling you, during that time period, for me, I lost my mind. And it's still days that I just have to check myself for the simple fact of, man, they really gone.
That's the shock. It's the shock and the denial. Like, it took me some time, even so with my brother. Like, I didn't want to believe it. I didn't want to accept it. I knew it happened, but I kept saying to myself, nah, he coming back. Like, and I literally called my nephew. I'm like, you okay? And he's like, Auntie Ashley, you okay?
Look, the baby checking up on you.
He does. He will literally call me and he'll say, Auntie, you okay? Every time I call him, that's the first thing he says to me. And I just know that the babies, they know. Everyone knew how close we were. I know that all is well. Like my grandfather always says, he always says all is well. Like every time I think about it, I just say all is well. But when it comes to the grieving process, it can hit you like a ton of bricks.
In moments. You can be driving and it's the moment. A song is the moment. When just last night, I was talking to, discreet. So I was talking to someone I truly love.
Right.
And she told me, she said, Storm, I don't understand. I'm gonna be okay.
Right.
But right now, I just don't understand. She said, I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. Of losing a plus one.
Right.
And it's one of those things where we suffer in silence. And I could tell you that during that process for me, because I am so private, I ended up becoming so not private in a sense of I started leaning on my sisters.
Yes.
I always go to my family. Anybody that knows me knows my family is like this. We're like this.
Yes.
But then that's when I really found Delta.
What sisterhood is all about, ma'am? Come on now.
What sisterhood outside of my family was my close friends. The friends that, let me tell y'all something.
Talk about it.
Let me tell you something. I believe that allow your pain to produce your purpose.
The encouraging woman, y'all.
Allow your pain. If I tell you what the last 3-4 years of what my life been like, but baby, I don't look like it.
What you been through?
And that's one of the most amazing things that my mom always tell me. When we talk about a strong individual, we put on our makeup, we put on our clothes, and we keep it moving, not realizing how much you're hurting in the inside.
Listen.
But the blessing behind it all is healing. You better talk to me.
Come on, Storm. Come on, Dr. Storm.
That healing process, let me tell you, baby.
Yes.
When you get to a point where you heal,
listen,
but just like you healed and you're still going through, of course, because when you lose someone to any magnitude, it's always a spot or a hole that you just have to cope with.
Right.
But baby, let me tell you something. Some of the best things I am doing today came because of the pain that I have felt.
Right.
And you said something that was so powerful, and I'm going to share it.
Yes.
You said, my brother came to me. Was it your brother or your mom?
It was grandma. Grandma came.
Grandma came to me.
Yeah.
So you not know during 2022, you know how many times I saw red?
How many times?
I remember crying on my bed, and I was asking God for direction. And I remember him saying, get up.
Yeah.
And I remember him telling me, get up. At that time, I had so much going on. I'm trying to balance with school. I'm trying to everything.
Yep.
And Red said, get up.
Yeah.
I said, get up. He said, get up. And I was at a place in my life where I did not know what was going to take place with a very important thing that was taking place. And I say, you know what? Let me put on a gala. I say, sis, get your dress out.
I'm like, that's
gala in 6 weeks.
Put on my gala.
She say, wait, what? Listen, you all. Me and Handy CC, we put on our first annual gala for my school in 6 weeks. And I tell you, baby, I sold out. The place was packed.
Yeah.
And I remember at that time when God said, don't ever underestimate me.
Come on now.
Don't underestimate me.
Come on now. Come on, Dr. Storm.
So when we think about just grief, because you can lose someone, grief and death, grief and the loss of relationships, divorce, friendships, grief comes in all types of forms.
Yes.
It's just not, the only thing that's final is death.
Correct.
But grief come in different avenues in life. And it's interesting because I always tell my students, as adults, sometimes we don't know how to deal with it.
No, we don't. It's something new for us.
Yeah. So how do you expect an 8-year-old that's sitting in front of her mom's casket and they're telling you, mommy's gone? And you, at that time, how do you process it? Because first you go through the shock, the denial, pain, the guilt, the anger, the bargaining. Okay, God, listen, if you just keep them here, I promise you I won't do this no more.
A little bit longer.
Yes.
Just a little bit longer.
Just a little bit longer. That's it.
Yeah.
My grandmother is 95 years old. And 95 years old. She just turned 95 on the 28th.
Wow.
And this is the grandma I did. You know, this is grandma. And this is the first time that I honestly said grandma lived a life. She lived a life.
Yeah.
And to see when you said, you know, when you think about grief, when you think about that process, it's almost like I'm looking at my grandmother.
Yes.
And she just, it's like, okay, grandma.
Yeah. But
it's still, I need you a little bit longer.
Yeah. You know, sometimes we become kind of selfish to where we want to keep them with us as long as we possibly can.
Girl,
right?
If I can keep my grandma here to 105.
Right. We want to keep them as long as we can. And at the same time, sometimes God needs them more. They, you know, they may feel that their assignment is complete. So we never understand why. For so long, I would say to myself, why? why why me?
Right.
Why? But why not you? Like we
Right.
stated before. When I think about the impact of the actual grief and now how I view the world and things that I'm trying to
Yes.
accomplish and do, and
Yes.
how I just want to try my best to spend as much time with family as I can, or just connecting more with my close sisters or friends that truly want to be current and present in my
Right.
life. You know, I know that we're all given such different tasks in life, but I feel as if, you know, if you want to be present, be present.
You
But
got
if you
to.
don't, it's okay.
But for me, sis, you know what? I think I know I can't say I think I got to be
Mhm.
transparent. Losing is experiencing losing Red.
Right.
And I tell you this, I when he was murdered,
Mhm.
I needed something to hold on to. And I found myself with
Yeah.
different avenues,
Mhm.
trying to figure it out. And then the school came.
Mhm.
And I remember saying to myself, man, I shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
Not the school, but in his name. Do you guys know I registered for the copyright, the trademark for Red.
Mhm.
Let me tell you how God works.
Talk about it.
The day it was published is the day of his anniversary. June 14, 2021.
I remember.
And I remember getting the email, and I felt myself June 14th having a pity party. And then I got the email and I was like, oh, wait a minute now.
Why don't you do it?
And I remember calling my cousin. I was like, hey, this is what happened. She's like, about send it to me. And I said to myself, wow.
Mm-hmm. Well, God,
and then when 2022 came and I heard him, he came to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like every time I saw Red, he was beautiful.
Yes.
And I remember the last conversation, and he said, get up. Mm-hmm. And from then, I've been 10 toes down.
With everything she works on. Everything.
So it's one of those things where when I say allow your pain to produce your purpose, and I'm not the one to glorify anything besides God. Yes. Because the people that knows me would tell you, even when I say I'm Dr. Storm, this one over here, no, hey, you're doctor. And I'm like, I'm just Storm. No, you're a doctor. So I'm like, let me just walk in it, But last year, I completed a doctorate and got my real estate license in the same year.
Wait, y'all. I remember when you decided, I said, Storm, you just finished school. You're gonna jump right. She's like, yes. I said, let's go. Let's go.
But my mind made up, baby, there ain't no stopping me.
None.
But my auntie told me a long time ago, she said, babe, when you make up your mind, you're forced to be reckoned with.
Yeah. Trust me. Come on, Storm.
My friends say I'm still trying to figure out how you graduated with a doctorate
and then went right into school.
Ran a whole school.
And did.
And then got a real estate license.
And did.
Mm-hmm. Who does that?
Dr. Storm.
Because I realized that my purpose on this earth is not about me.
Yes.
So I had to learn how to get out of my own way, even when I'm grieving.
Yeah.
Even when I'm grieving.
Even when you grieve. And I think that a lot of times people don't believe that you're actually grieving, or they may not even recognize that tough. You are grieving. And what I realized even for myself is that I am still processing and I am still grieving.
It's a daily challenge.
And I realize your body will tell you, even the most interesting thing that I realized, even my brother, I would recognize when either his birthday is coming or his anniversary is coming.
That's the worst. That is the worst.
And it'll be as if it's going backwards, where you'll be where you're progressing, doing better, whether it's cleaning, cooking, doing things around the house. But then there's moments when you go backwards where the clothes start piling up.
Yes.
The dishes start piling up.
You don't want to go nowhere.
You don't want to go nowhere.
This is the favorite one. You sleep.
Yeah.
All you want to do is just sleep.
Sleep. Yeah. Yeah. And that's how it's starting to process yet again.
Right.
So it's like, here you go, yet again, going through another healing process of the grief.
Right.
So I do oftentimes that happens. Like when I'm up, I'm up. When I'm starting to go back through that again, I kind of hone in more by reading my Bible, right?
Yes.
I start connecting more with God and just allowing him to speak to me and where I should go next and how I should process getting out of the situation. And then there was the times when I say, hold on, let me call my therapist real quick and talk to her right quick.
Listen, let's stay right there. Because let me tell you something. And I don't want to say I'll coach you.
Go ahead.
You know, everybody say what happens in the house, stay in the house.
Right.
But I think that we're coming to this new era where we're realizing that sitting on a couch talking to someone is actually appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when you lost your brother and you was like, you know what, I got to get some counseling.
Listen, I recognize what I needed.
Correct. You identified that.
Yep.
But not only did you identify that, you put the work in to actually get it done.
Yeah. But I'll be honest.
Mm-hmm.
My God, he caught me, y'all.
There's that praying circle.
Listen,
you gotta have people around you that know how to pray and pray right.
My God, he caught me, y'all. She was like, she popped up at the house. She's like, hey, what we doing? Hold up. Let me make a call.
Right.
So I'll be honest and admit that it was like once she saw it, she's like, baby, we need help.
Yeah.
You know, you got, and that's where it's so important. Like you said, your friend circle.
Yes.
You have to have a close knit of friends who you can fast together, pray together.
Come on.
And get life going.
That's
you know.
Right.
And so that was my journey, I will say, throughout the grieving process and how I'm still going through it. And just making sure, like, the encouraging woman is something that my brother knew about and he was so proud of. And I know he still is proud of.
Right.
And I know that he's probably like, look at my little sister.
This
girl done got a podcast.
Listen, you are a bad Mama Jennifer.
I'm trying.
You're doing good. One of the things that I have to say, and I have to applaud you for, because when we came up with this, I'm going to take that back. When Ashley D came up with this episode.
Yeah.
I remember December I mentioned because I found myself at a place of grieving.
Yeah.
And I learned when I grieve, but when I'm stressed, I eat. Mm-hmm. And that's when I remember gaining so much weight. So now I have learned a new behavior.
Yes.
And when we talked about it in December, it was one of those things where I said, Ash, I'm starting to think about a lot of people. Like, I was starting to think about people that I know that has lost their husbands.
Yeah.
And children that has lost their parents and moms that has lost their kids. Like, how do you make it during these seasons that's supposed to be a celebration? Because according to society, we're celebrating during Christmas. We're celebrating. We're grateful during Thanksgiving. Because I can tell you, Thanksgiving has not been the same since 2018 for me.
Oh, same.
But baby, my aunt cook a mean meal now, and I am grateful for my family, and I don't want to take that away. Mm-hmm. But when you experience something of a magnitude, it changes you in a way that things are not the same.
Yeah, and I think for me, as I think about, like you say, things aren't the same. Like it does, the grief does something to you. You gonna either sink or swim.
Ooh, baby.
You are going to either sink or swim. So for me, I was like, hey, throw the buoy and I'm out there and I'm a backstroke and I'm going to get.
First of all, you are surrounded by too many people that's going to let you sink.
Yeah.
And that's why your circle, everybody's talking about a circle.
Yeah.
But every time I tell somebody, I say, listen, I'm not worried about whether or not my circle is hustlers.
Right.
My circle is people that's praying and praying right for me. Mm-hmm. Because anytime I know that I'm going through it, guess what my circle do? They call me, hey, I felt you in the spirit.
Listen,
I felt you in the spirit.
Storm or not, listen, what's going on? You okay?
I hit it with the FaceTime, y'all. Let me see your face. Okay, this looks good. And I do that with all of anybody that I truly care about. I would hit you with a FaceTime quick, just look at your eyeballs.
Now let me lay your eyes on you.
I tell her that all the time.
Let me lay my eyes on you.
I told two people today, one today and one yesterday, listen, I think I need to find you at all times. So let's share your address with me.
Let me get your GPS on my phone so I know you at all
times. But I'm not. But it's important to have prayer. And I think that as we live in a fast-paced world, we're getting away from it. before one of the things that's so important to me about being a owner and being responsible for students is my baby's got covered on Play by God.
No.
So before we get our day started,
Yes.
my students is praying. And when I say they praying, they praying.
They really
the
pray.
Lord's Prayer.
And I think that's the one thing that's missing from our schools. I mean, we're going to focus on schools right now, y'all, because we are both in the school. But that is truly what's missing. I notice a lot of my children at school, they are grieving.
Bad though.
I'm not even touch on it, but they are grieving. They are going through things. Listen, that sounds
like an episode.
A whole nother episode. They are dealing with things. They are dealing with things in life. And all the times when they come to school, I'm like, hey, how's your day going? That's the first thing that I have to say to them. How's your day going? And now it's gotten to the point where they ask me, how's your day going?
Because you know what you're doing? You have developed a system to them that now they're able to give it back.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm telling you, because there were times where they wouldn't even say thank you for opening the door. Small things. So what I realize is now I have to plant the seeds to them.
Talk about it.
With just the small things of, I like your hair. You have a great day.
Talk about it.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
Continue to talk about it.
And cry.
Let it out.
Let it out.
You have to.
Yeah. How many times you have called me, Ash? And this is before you experienced the passing of your brother. And you have said, Storm, he's proud of you. Not realizing that I actually needed you to tell me that.
Yeah. I have.
Talk about it. And it opened a door for me to say, you know what, sis? On the outside, I look like I'm strong. But right now, I'm on my knees asking God to catch me. Because it's one of those things where when we think about grief, as I stated earlier, it's not always in the form of death.
Right.
Sometimes you have to let a relationship go.
Correct.
Sometimes you have to let a person that you truly love go.
Yeah. And I think a lot of times we are afraid to let go.
Ooh, we hold on.
We hold on
to things that in the end will cost you everything. Let me tell you something. Baby, if it's not for you, let it go. Let it go. I have learned within these last couple of years that when God closes a door, it's okay. I celebrate them. When I hear a no, I'm like, okay, I don't know what God protected me from.
Correct. You have no idea what he protected you from.
At all. The God that I serve. Woo!
Yeah. And we just want to look at some comments really quick. We have Tanisha Stevens. She was saying, I appreciate you too. We have a comment from that Darielle Adams. Death can be determined to your mental health if you don't have the proper support team, listen, and counseling. That is one thing I want you guys to just remember. And anyone that is grieving right now, I want you to know, I want you to get the help you need.
Get the help
to feel better. If you don't feel well, especially mentally, reach out to spiritual counseling. Get the actual just regular counseling, grief counseling. They're specialized in grief counseling. There are mental health professionals that specialize in grief counseling. We will actually have a mental health counselor soon on our show, because we want to stay connected and making sure that we're continuously encouraging women, men, everybody needs some type of encouragement on a daily basis, including ourselves. And I think a lot of times for the grief process, for me, I'm busy for a reason.
Yes, you gotta think about it.
You don't have time to pause and think about the people that are no longer here. So you grieve, you cope by actually staying busy. And that's what I realized about me. Sorry, babe, I love you, but
she doing better.
I'm balancing.
That's key.
I'm balancing.
It's key.
And then we have Natasha Nicole. She said pain produces purpose.
Every time, Natasha.
Yes.
Listen,
yes.
that my best work
yes.
has came out of pain.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those things where when you trust God
yes.
to be your guidance,
mm-hmm.
and you allow him to direct your path, whether you're grieving, whether you're hurting, heck,
mm-hmm.
even if you're crying every morning,
mm-hmm. let it out. Let it out.
Have a support system. I think that is so key.
Yeah.
But my thing is, and as my star would say, before you check me, check on me.
Yep.
Check on me.
Check on me.
Hey, Ash, you good?
Yep.
You doing good?
You good, Dr. Storm?
It's been a day.
Listen, I will tell her, I'm like, hey, I need a moment. Can you talk to me right quick?
And he gonna be
hold on. Let me put my AirPod in right quick.
Put my AirPod in. I'm at the laptop. Go ahead and go.
And she's working. So, and the last thing we have Q Shimon. She says it's okay to be in the moment. It brings insight and a time to release. Yes. And that is what the goal for this episode was to release, because Ashley D has had to release.
Yes.
We want to thank our sponsors, anyone that has sent in payments to us, because guys, remember, this takes money and time to do this podcast, and we want to continue keeping it going. We thank everyone for their donations on Cash App. It's the Encouraging Woman. We want to thank our tech team. We appreciate y'all.
We got the best tech team in the United States of America.
We want to thank y'all so much each week for helping us as we go about our daily time frame of doing the Encouraging Woman. Yes. We are looking forward to the next episode. We will have a special guest, but we are really praying that this episode was able to help you guys recognize we are human. We are going through just like everyone else.
Life is lifing. We just make it look good.
And do.
And is. We love y'all, but before we end, you did good. You can breathe now. Okay. Somebody better talk to me.
We appreciate you guys. Anything else you have for the people, Dr. Storm?
Listen, I just love this.
This was really good.
I love this platform.
Yeah.
I really do. And I love it for the simple fact of we're sticking to the mission.
Yeah.
Which is creating a safe place for our viewers.
Absolutely.
To just talk about it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it, y'all.
We talking about it, y'all.
Yes.
We hope this episode blessed you guys, and we hope you have a wonderful evening. Nice.
See ya.